Running Sentences presents a bonus episode short story. Debt and Payment. A loan shark and a debtor debate how the owed debt is to be paid off. This story is written and narrated by Michael Hunnery. It is a work of fiction, so any names, characters, businesses, events, and situations within this story are products of the author's imagination. Any resemblance to real people, situations, characters, businesses, events, and so on, including fictional ones, businesses, events, characters, and so on, is purely coincidental. Copyright 2024, Michael Hunnery. All rights reserved. Alexander Airbaum sat at his desk and watched his two associates drag Mr. Peters into the dungy, grungy office space. It was a place that never had time to be cleaned up, thanks to the never-ending work of dealing with debts that were owed. There was always a few or a couple of people who thought they could get away with not paying him, and that never turned out well. Peters was plunked into the seat across from him. "Mr. Peters, you know why you're here and what comes next." "I need more time." "As does everyone in the history of time. If only we had a few more moments than this, and then that could and would and should be settled. Alas, we only get what time we have, no matter how short it is." "I have the money, and I can get it to you." "And now this song and dance routine. Do you think I haven't heard that story before? You want me to believe that simple lie that I've heard hundreds, if not thousands of times by the people who pass through here?" "I don't expect anything, sir, but I would like a chance." "You've had many chances and never done anything with them, and you're supposed to pay me. How am I suddenly supposed to trust you when you can't make simple payments?" Peters, who had been sat and held in the chair, tried to inch his way forward, giving a sad face, trying to create some empathy. It was a combination of a frown and puppy eyes that came across more childlike than sad. "I have a family." "As do many who owe debts to people. You have a family and that's great, but you were warned and told it was a bad idea before getting into this to get this loan." "I know." "And yet you dragged out that excuse before me? What are you trying to accomplish when we both know those words get us nowhere?" The man tried to inch further forward into his seat, but the guards were holding him rather firmly in place. I needed to do something, and I can't sit around letting you dictate which finger or toe to cut off." Alexander growled at this. He did not go around cutting off fingers and toes. No, that was an old method of doing things that only left him with appendages that he couldn't do much with. "You think I want those?" No, of course not. I want to know what you want so I can actually keep them." "You don't mean money, because if you actually had that, you would have given it to me already, and yet you promise that you have this money. What are you getting at, Mr. Peters?" "Yet I need a couple of days, and I can get it." "I don't believe you, and I fear you're going to simply go to another shark and borrow money from them to pay off this debt. Is that even close to the truth?" Alexander was pinching the bridge of his nose, trying to fight back a headache as he watched Peters, who had a soft flinch that crossed his face, but was then gone. The sigh was welling up inside of Alexander, which he fought down. His problem was he knew Peter's wife and kids, since he had a loose connection with them, family or something he'd long pretended no longer mattered or existed in his life. Still, they wouldn't like it, and he would hear about it from his family even though he barely had that connection to them anymore. I won't do that." "Well, that's good to hear. Not that I believe you for a moment, and nor would I trust you on that. We also would need some sort of collateral to keep things even. I know we already have collateral for the loan, but now for an extension in time, more is required. Well, I do have something in my car, if you will let me go get it. With a look to one of his guards, Alexander nodded, and the man released their grip on Peters. If the doors are locked, give your keys to my worker. He'll go fetch whatever it is you have. Well, it's better if I go get it, since I know what it is. Give the keys over, or we will find a new way to make this work. We don't accept things that have been hidden from us. Please tell me you're not trying anything. Oh no, I wouldn't dream of that. Moving about with his now free arm, Peters retrieved his keys from his pocket and held them out. The guard took them carefully, and with a nod to Alexander, moved towards the door but did not leave just yet. So what is this item you are offering? You seem so eager to make it sound like it is worthy of collateral. Isn't it a better surprise, a better thing to not know what it is right away? It's good. Birthday presents are great, right? You never know what you're gonna get. No, not when it comes to money and the dirty tricks that people try and play on us to get any advantage they can. I am a reasonable person, Peters, and I want you to survive all of this. So you can take more money? Again, no. Once a source runs into debt, and in this situation of not being able to pay, I find it better to no longer lend to them. Less hassle that way. Oh, I see. Well, anyway, it's an ornate box that has been passed down through my family for ages. To this, Alexander nodded to his guard by the door, who then quietly departed. Family heirlooms, as lovely as they are, rarely match up to the value of debt owed or come anywhere close to making it worth taking. Well, this one is different. Sitting back in his chair and trying to think and not shake his head now, Alex found himself crossing his arms. Of course it is. Explain, then. Well, it is a very special box, the likes of which has rarely been seen, and I don't say that lightly. You see, my family was descended from a line of princes and princesses. They never got to the throne or anything like that, but they did have quite a bit of riches. This was sounding more and more promising to Alexander, which made him frown. Too good was the thought that came to him as he tried to fight back that feeling that he should be frowning. This box was specially carved and laid with fine gems and gold inlaid into it. Unfortunately, over the years, gems and gold have been taken from it to pay for things and, keep living. Because your family fell out, or whatever the excuse is, I guess I don't really care, and now it's probably only worth a fraction of what it once was. Peters nodded yes, firmly, several times, making his head bob about in an almost comical fashion. There was in the back of Alexander's mind a worry about how trustworthy all of this was. His mind and stomach told him not that much. It is still almost worth the value of the loan, though. And why didn't you put it up originally as collateral, then? Oh, well, it's too valuable for that. Now, though, I need it, and I need the help, so it will do. It didn't sound right still. And when can I expect my money to be returned so that I can give you this collateral back? A moment's hesitation from Peters made Alexander frown now, this time. This wouldn't do at all, and he let that show. He wanted to help, and to have everything nice and cleanly taken care of. No messy situations, and to actually help out the guy for what he felt like the 9th time. None of the other times were really helping the man's family when he wasn't exactly aware. I can't say for sure. Then I cannot accept the item. You have to. No, I don't. You want me to, so you will feel good about yourself, but you're only buying time until you can pitch a few pennies to give them to me, which is never enough to do. I can't have that. Why not? Because I want to get you out of this situation and clear of any debt to me. To do that, we have to work together and not throw whatever at the wall with a prayer and hoping that it sticks. Right, Peters? Now it was the turn of Peters to have a deep frown on his face, which Alexander took to mean he didn't fully agree. The man wanted a quick solution, which would never work. The way anyone wanted. Explain it to me. Fine. I help you get yourself out of debt that you owe to me. That potentially means work and so on. We work together to do this and not to find a quick money to act as a stopgap for the debt. But you want your money. Yes, my money being returned would be great, but you can't afford that. The box probably is not worth it. You need a plan to keep you on the path to repayment, and I would like to provide it. Hell, I'll even waive some of the money owed if it works out. Well, how much would you do, though? At least a quarter of it if you do actual good work with me and for me. If not, then you will have to pay the full thing, but we will get it paid without resorting to any other tactics. I hope. Well, that's not enough. More. I need more than at least a quarter. Well, we can work out more, but you have to promise me that you will do whatever I ask of you. Nothing illegal, though. No, of course not. I was thinking more along the lines of using your restaurant for meetings and, say, food delivery. Keep this operation fed at a little less expensive rate than you usually charge. The tap, tap, tap of Peter's foot gave the sign that he was thinking about it very hard. He also looked around rather suspiciously and seemed uncomfortable. Peters, did you do something? Why would you ask that? The way you're acting makes me feel like I cannot trust you, and you have not yet agreed to my offer. No, I am trustworthy, except that box. If the wrong people were to see it, they think about stealing it. And I mean, I don't trust your workers, and you don't trust me, and I didn't cover it up, so it looks fancy, and you know. Peters, I don't like the sound of that. No, really, it's fine. It is okay and all good. Just don't want eyes on it. People might think it's valuable. You think it's valuable. Peters nodded yes. Of course, because I know about it and I have had it appraised. Others don't know, and they will assume that they could steal it for the money and it will bring them, but it won't bring them as much as they hope. And it still looks very nice after all, and, you know, it's just best not to go down that road. Not sure what else he could do at the moment, Alexander shook his head. As long as it isn't a bomb or anything like that, I suppose we are fine. You're free to go, and we will discuss more of how you will pay us back later, but I think we have a firm understanding that you will help us with your restaurant. Alexander waved his hand to his guard, who let go of Peters. The man shot off out of the room with a hurried step, leaving Alex to wonder if he was doing the right thing. He always tried to give people a shot, and felt like he was about to regret doing it for this one. Please keep an eye on that one just to be safe. There was a soft nod from the guard, who then slipped from the room to follow Peters. The end of Debt and Payment. Thank you for listening.